Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. Who do you think will win between Trigon and Mr. Mxyzptlk? Trigon, a powerful demon from a hellish dimension, is the one who destroyed thousands of universes and controlled countless worlds with just his thoughts. He possesses limitless magical power, the ability to transform reality, manipulate minds, absorb souls, and the power of gods. Trigon often appears in a giant form with 3 eyes and 4 arms, symbolizing his cruel nature and unrivaled power. Mr. Mxyzptlk from the 5th dimension has a humorous and mischievous appearance, but his power is far beyond all logical limits. He can bend reality, change the laws of physics, erase the universe, and do anything he wants as long as he feels happy. Although it often acts in a humorous manner, Mxyzptlk is one of the most dangerous entities if left unchecked. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Trigon is a powerful demonic entity known as one of the greatest threats to the Teen Titans. Originating from another dimension, he was formed from the evil energy discarded by the people of Azarath, a people who lived a benevolent and spiritual life. That expelled energy gathered and gave birth to Trigon, making him the embodiment of pure evil, a being of immense power and boundless destruction. At the height of his power, Trigon returned to attack Azarath and annihilated its entire population, erasing the sacred land that had once rejected him. After centuries of terrorizing countless dimensions, Trigon gave birth to a daughter named Raven through an evil ritual. Although Raven was raised in an environment of emotional control to avoid being affected by her father's dark nature, her blood connection to Trigon was still a heavy burden that she struggled to overcome. Trigon began to turn his attention to his daughter's universe, repeatedly plotting to invade and turn it into part of his dark empire. With his mind-manipulating powers, destructive magic, and ability to exist outside of time and space, Trigon became a constant threat, a sworn enemy of the Teen Titans. Since then, he has been considered one of the most dangerous, evil, and difficult to defeat villains in the entire universe. Trigon. When he was only 1 year old, he was able to conquer his entire home planet. By the age of 6, he destroyed that very planet as a testament to his growing power beyond his control. By the time he turned 30, Trigon had become the master of his entire dimension, establishing a dark empire that covered every place he set foot. Trigon's most devastating feat was the ability to destroy an entire planet with a single deadly glance. He even clashed with Zoriel, a fallen angel who was later resurrected, but still could not compare to Trigon's overwhelming power. In addition, he once conquered and controlled the entire universe. Trigon even killed many powerful gods and wore their skin as a way to show contempt and dominance. His presence caused so much fear that the Monitor once said that Trigon could be compared to the Spectre, one of the creatures that represented the wrath of God. In addition, Trigon was not afraid of mystical entities such as the Phantom Stranger and even the Presence, an entity considered to be the embodiment of the Supreme Being. In another development, the Untitled, a mysterious and evil race, cooperated with Trigon to invade Earth together. They created a portal from Hell to Earth through a surreal dimension. While the Outlaws tried to deal with the rest of the Untitled, they were forced to close the portal to prevent Trigon from crossing the boundary between the two worlds. Bizarro, realizing the dire situation, sacrificed himself to hold Trigon back, giving his teammates enough time to complete the mission. Thanks to Bizarro's courage, the Outlaws succeeded in sealing and completely destroying the portal. However, the end of Trigon is still a big question because with his immortal nature, he is always a potential threat to any world that dares to oppose him. Trigon is one of the most powerful and terrible evil entities that can break the barriers between dimensions, opening the way to invade any reality he targets. Trigon also absorbs the entire soul of a universe, turning the spiritual energy of billions of beings into a source of power to supplement his own. Trigon once confronted Mr. Mxyzptlk, a 5th-dimensional entity with virtually limitless power over reality. The clash between these two forces only ends when both decide to stop. But the mere fact that Trigon can stand on equal footing with a being like Mxyzptlk shows how terrifying he is. Many powerful figures in the DC universe, including the Spectre, have been mentioned as potential opponents for Trigon, although the results have always left many people skeptical about his ability to win. Trigon is a demon lord, a tireless conqueror, with ambitions to control all of reality and eliminate all resistance. He could easily destroy Earth at any time if he really wanted to, and he conquered the planet without much effort. No army of superheroes can stop him when he really acts. Veteran heroes who have faced many supernatural forces have been unable to withstand Trigon's fury. A case in point is Kara Zor-El, also known as Supergirl. For a moment, she was stunned by how Triumph had survived the destruction Trigon had caused on her planet. This further underscores that Trigon is not just a regular villain, but the embodiment of absolute evil. He has an insatiable hunger for destruction, always seeking new worlds to destroy and new souls to devour. Trigon is a being of immense power who once fought the Anti-Monitor, one of the most formidable foes to have ever appeared in the history of the multiverse. It is noteworthy that the Anti-Monitor that Trigon faced was not a regular being. He is a multiversal-level being that exists in the 6th metaphysical plane and is equivalent in size to the entire multiverse structure combined. This means that the Anti-Monitor in that situation is many times stronger than his normal state. However, even in his weakened state, Trigon is still capable of facing an opponent of his caliber head-on. Trigon possesses a wide variety of abilities that are virtually limitless. He can use telepathic energy to penetrate and manipulate the minds of his opponents. His ability to manipulate matter with his thoughts allows him to reshape the space around him at will. Trigon can also move objects over long distances without physical contact, demonstrating the sophistication of his psychic powers. The fact that he can confront entities of the caliber of Mr. Mxyzptlk or the Anti-Monitor shows that he is not only physically strong, but also possesses intelligence and magic. This ability makes Trigon not only a destructive entity, but also a force that can reshape the entire operating rules of the universe if left unchecked. Please subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Mxyzptlk is a 5th-dimensional being whose power is beyond all physical and conceptual limits. With the ability to manipulate reality at will, he has destroyed entire Earths, alternate timelines, as well as the past and future in the blink of an eye. He has even restructured everything as a way to write poetry, demonstrating his absolute and artistic power. Not only that, he can move freely between endless realities to find and accompany Superman, whom he cares about. When appearing in lower dimensions, such as the 3rd dimension, Mxyzptlk appears as a simple piece of paper to the eyes of 5th-dimensional beings, reflecting the terrible disparity in the nature of existence. He once easily defeated the Spectre, one of the most powerful entities in the DC universe, with a single attack, and has done this multiple times. He is considered to be superior to Emperor Joker, a character who was once acknowledged by Spectre to be able to destroy all of reality. This is because Emperor Joker only possesses 99% of Mxyzptlk's power, which shows that Mxyz's true power is far beyond what has been shown. His power is shown when he amplifies himself through a special machine, thereby reaching the level of the 11th dimension of reality, a concept that is almost incomprehensible to 3-dimensional beings. However, because of his reckless actions in attempting to destroy the entire existing structure of reality, he was punished by his own kind. The punishment was to turn him into a 2-dimensional being, a degradation of his nature that serves as a warning, showing that even omnipotent beings cannot stand outside the strict rules of the higher universe. Mr. Mxyzptlk is one of the powerful entities. He possesses the typical power of the 5D imp species, including the ability to bend reality at will. Mxyzptlk also exhibits Toon Force abilities, which are humorous, illogical, but extremely effective powers, often seen in cartoon characters. These manifestations help him overcome the limits of normal power, creating unpredictable effects in all confrontation situations. He has shown the ability to restructure the entire reality, destroying a series of universes and timelines in just a moment. Powerful entities such as the Spectre or Darkseid, despite possessing divine powers, have also been easily destroyed by him. At a higher level, sixth-dimensional entities such as the Monitor Brothers, Perpetua, Nil Monitors, or Hands are often considered multiversal entities with the power to cover many layers of reality. However, in terms of achievements and versatility in the application of power, Mxyzptlk has repeatedly shown that he is not only on par with, but sometimes even superior to these entities. Although Mxyzptlk is an entity with almost unlimited power in the fifth dimension, when compared to entities from the sixth dimension, his power is still clearly surpassed. The entity Perpetua is described as the creator of the entire DC multiverse. She is one of the beings of the sixth level of reality, possessing a primordial and cosmological influence, capable of shaping and reshaping entire layers of space and time. Dr. Manhattan is also an entity that is said to be on par or even superior to Mxyzptlk in some aspects, most notably in his ability to control the quantum infrastructure and restructure the timeline at will. Manhattan is not bound by the linear concept of time and can interact with the past, present, and future simultaneously. Cathexis, although they originate from the sixth dimension, are not truly considered to be six-dimensional entities like the Monitor Brothers or Perpetua. Cathexis act as highly technological and powerful aliens, but their abilities are limited to granting wishes, much like the role of the genie in the fairy tale Aladdin. In fact, if analyzed carefully, the genie in Aladdin can demonstrate much more powerful reality-bending abilities, while Cathexis can only manipulate reality through specific wishes and cannot restructure or control the entire universe on their own. The higher the dimension, the greater the existence and power of the entities that reside within it. However, not every being or entity from a higher dimension possesses superior power. For example, Star Sapphire is associated with the seventh dimension, but this does not mean that she is a being of great cosmic power. In fact, she herself is simply a human empowered by a purple lantern ring, which allows her to tap into the power of the emotional spectrum, specifically love. With this, she can create constructs of light and even simulate life. Entities from the ninth dimension, such as the Krill race, are often described as having the ability to connect between dimensions and invade other realities. However, their powers are more about interdimensional travel and warfare, rather than the ability to manipulate reality or create life on a cosmic level. In contrast, fifth-dimensional beings like Mxyzptlk have the ability to truly create. On one rare occasion, he used his powers to give Superman and Lois Lane a child, an act that demonstrated his ability to create life independently of his will. This act caused Doomsday, the being created to destroy Superman, to commit suicide to test whether he could be resurrected from death again. And true to his extraordinary biological nature, Doomsday died, but then came back to life, a classic manifestation of the immortal evolutionary cycle that the character possesses. However, when viewed on a higher level, 10th dimensional beings like the Ultimator are truly terrifying. These entities are not only extremely powerful, but can also eat fifth-dimensional entities like Mxyzptlk, meaning they can absorb, digest, and completely erase the existence of beings that are already considered to be nearly omnipotent. From this, it can be imagined that the level of 10th dimensional entities is close to the original level of reality, where all concepts such as space, time, and consciousness can be rewritten or erased in an instant. Trigon, one of the most terrifying dark entities, is the Lord of Hell and the embodiment of boundless evil. With his unending desire, he decided to expand his domain and power beyond the dark world, reaching higher planes of reality where his power could redefine the universe. In his journey to conquer new realms of reality, Trigon accidentally stepped into the fifth dimension, an absurd, arbitrary existence where all laws of physics, logic, and time are bent or even completely eliminated. Here, Mr. Mxyzptlk, an entity that represents pure chaos, was sleeping among the most upside-down concepts of the universe. Trigon immediately showed off his power. He burned the entire fabric of space with hellfire, destroying millions of souls souls with just a glance. He loudly declared that he was the ultimate power, and no entity in any dimension could stop his domination. Mxyzptlk initially appeared indifferent to Trigon's presence and threat. He responded with satirical and humorous actions, transforming Trigon into absurd forms like a melting ice cream cone, then a cat in a pink dress dancing among singing flowers. These seemingly meaningless actions not only demonstrated Mxyzptlk's spontaneous nature, but also implied that he was completely beyond Trigon's comprehension. When Trigon used all of his destructive magical power to blast Mxyzptlk across the 7 dimensions, the tide began to turn. For a rare moment in thousands of years, Mxyzptlk became serious. This expression was not only a warning, but also a sign that the limits of joking had been broken, and this chaotic entity was about to reveal its true power. The confrontation between Trigon and Mr. Mxyzptlk takes place in a warped universe that no longer obeys any laws of physics or geometry, like a vivid painting by Salvador Dali himself. Time flows backwards, and geometric shapes float like unfinished ideas. Trigon, an ancient evil entity and lord of hell, decides to use all the power he possesses to overwhelm his opponent. He summons powerful dark entities, including the 7 deadly sins, demons from Earth 3, representing the dark egos of superheroes, along with dark armies like the shadow demons to create an eternal nightmare that covers the entire battle space. In the face of this massive and fierce attack, Mr. Mxyzptlk does not waver. A being from the 5th dimension where all concepts such as logic, cause and effect, and time are reversed or nullified, Trigon's every attack is transformed by him in completely unexpected ways. Streams of hellfire become jazz tunes, acid rain turns into glowing soap bubbles, and the entire battlefield of hell is transformed into a disco where Trigon is forced to dance to YMCA out of sheer will. Despite his brutal nature and power far beyond that of most beings in the universe, Trigon is no match for Mxyzptlk's limitless whims. He attempts to invade his opponent's minds, using his power to control their souls to control their perceptions. However, Mxyzptlk does not adhere to any stable logic or thought structures, rendering Trigon's attempts at manipulation futile. Mxyzptlk discovers Trigon's greatest weakness, his massive ego. Trigon is an entity that refuses to accept defeat, so arrogant that he cannot back down from anyone, even if it puts him in absurd situations and damages his honor. Mxyzptlk does not need to defeat Trigon by force. He just needs to prolong the game, anger and tarnish his opponent's arrogant image until Trigon himself collapses because of his inability to control his ego. That is the ultimate victory, a victory through absurdity beyond all imagination. Mr. Mxyzptlk is invincible and the winner. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.